Hi everyone, I'm Second Lieutenant Schaefer, and for today's in-service, I'm going to be covering how to properly lift an object off the floor. So proper lifting technique is really important because it's going to protect you and your back from a potential injury that could put you out of work and put the rest of your coworkers at a disadvantage from having an understaffed environment. So when it comes to proper lifting technique, there are 4 simple steps that you should keep in mind. 1 is preparing to lift, 2 is the lifting, 3 is moving, and 4 is the lowering aspect. So I'm going to break these down step by step so we can cover this together. So 1, preparing. First we want to assess what we're going to lift. See that it's heavy. I realize I can pick it up myself. The next piece is to assess where you're moving. You want to make sure wherever your end destination is, you don't have clutter or things in your way. And if there are, just move them and take care of them accordingly. So during the preparation of the lift, also be sure that there's no sharp edges or things that might require gloves. The next piece is the lifting aspect. So when you get ready to lift, we want a nice wide base. Keep your balance here. The common mistake that we see all the time is we bend over and we round our back. You want to squat down to your knees and your hips to pick the box up, like so. If you don't have this range of motion, you can also kneel down and pull the box to you and get it ready for lifting. So again, we're going to squat down, and then once we pick the box or the object, whatever it is you're lifting, as you pick it up, you want to keep this weight close to your center of gravity. You don't want to have it way out here and pulling you forward. That's where injuries are going to happen. Once we have the weight centered and close to us, this is when we can start preparing to move. Whether you're moving forward or if you're going to turn, either way you want to keep it close. Now when you turn, you want to move your feet first and then turn your body with you. And this will allow you to go where you need to go. If I want to put it on the shelf, I'm going to turn my feet, approach the shelf, and I can place it down here. Or if I decide to lift, I want to brace my core and put it up to the shelf. Now, if you need to lower the box back down to the ground, similar concept as the lifting, we're going to lower ourselves through our legs, placing the object down, making sure fingers and toes are clear. Now let's talk about when you need to call in a teammate to move a large box or a heavy object. So we've already assessed that neither one of us can move this by ourselves, and so I'm asking for help. Much like what we've already done, we're going to approach the object. We want to make sure our path in whichever direction we're moving is clear, and then we're going to get ready for our lift. So again, we're going to get to our box, have a nice wide stance so we have balance. We're going to squat down, bending through our knees and hips. We're going to communicate when we're going to lift. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1. We both lift, and now we're prepared and ready to move. We've discussed the 4 simple steps to proper lifting technique, when to ask for help if need be, and now we're going to talk about some of the more common mistakes that we see when you're moving in a heavy object or picking an object up off the ground. I talked about one of them already, this idea that we're going to round our back and we're not using our hips or our legs to pick an object up. That's probably the most common mistake. Other mistakes that you want to be wary of is when you're holding a heavy item or a box, we don't want to twist through the torso without moving our feet. This is putting a lot of stress and tension on the spine and can cause for a pulled muscle. You could trip, stumble, things of that nature. Other mistakes are more in line whenever we're moving an object. You don't want to hold an object too high, or if it's a big object, you don't want to have your view or vision obstructed. You want to be able to see clearly where you're going and delivering or moving a package to an item or a box. The other thing to consider when moving objects, again, we talked about needing a teammate, but it's not always just when it's a heavy object. It could be if the object is really big or awkward, or maybe you're just not confident in your own self and are unsure. At the end of the day, it's just always better to be safe than to be sorry. So again, to reiterate, safe lifting practice for picking an object or something up off the ground. 4 simple steps. You're going to prepare. So again, assessing your situational awareness. You're going to do those proper lifting techniques with a nice wide base. We're going to move, and then we're going to lower. I appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed this in-service, and I hope that you learned something. Thank you.